This will sound very strange, but the errant rocket explosion in a market in a city in the Donbass region of Ukraine on September 6th, 2023 is a prophetic sign that is from the God of the Bible that is communicating a prediction that there will be a suitcase nuke or dirty bomb explosion in Manhattan on September 25th, 2023. And there will also be a mass evacuation of Manhattan Island. And this was the case at the beginning of the Russia-Ukraine war. There was a mass exodus, a mass evacuation from Ukraine. Part of this prophetic sign, which was this Ukrainian errant rocket that hit its own people in its own city, is the first day of the Russia-Ukraine war, in which the Moskva took Snake Island, which is Antichrist symbolism. When God's faithful will be raptured, as described in Bible prophecy, it too will be a mass evacuation, a mass exodus. And these prophetic signs that I am speaking about reveal the date of the rapture. The date that this video was posted proves that this prediction that there will be a suitcase nuclear bomb explosion or dirty bombs explosion in Manhattan on September 25th, 2023 is being made ahead of time, as does this time-stamped email and forensic notes PDF document. If you are skeptical for some reason, please email me and I will forward these to you. On September 6th, 2023, a rocket hit a market area of a city in the Donbass region of Ukraine. 17 people were killed in what was the deadliest attack on civilians in many months. It was reported in the New York Times that evidence suggests that it was not a Russian rocket, as was claimed by the Ukrainian government, but instead was an errant Ukrainian rocket. The 17th triangular number is 153. There were 17 people that were killed. The 17th triangular number is 153, which in a triangle of numbers, the last number in the 17th row is 153, which in the Bible is symbolic of the church and the end of the age of fishing for men. There is video of the explosion that shows that the rocket hit at 14:04, because in most of the world the time is not expressed as AM or PM, and 1404 is 2:04 PM, which hints at the number 144, which is the number in the book of Revelation that symbolizes God's faithful who will be raptured. In the Bible, the Feast of Pentecost symbolizes the church, and Pentecost literally means 50th day. This explosion that killed 17 people at 14:04 is 50 days before a predicted explosion in Damascus, Syria, when Israel nukes Damascus on October 26th, which will in turn be exactly 7 months before the rapture on May 26th, 2024, Pentecost in the calendar that watches for new moons. It is in the 7th chapter of the book of Revelation that the 144,000 are raptured. The number 12, 144 is 12 times 12. The number 12 is also symbolizes the church in the Bible, and 12 days after this explosion on September 6th was the day of the Nick Chubb sign, prophetic sign, in the Monday night football game that was a judgment warning for the church and its Nick-Olaetan doctrine, hence Nick Chubb. This sign on September 18th will be explained in another video. The rocket hit precisely 9 seconds after 14:04, and in the Bible the number 9 is symbolic of God's judgment. 9 seconds after 14:04, which is symbolic of the church, the 14:04, makes the rocket prophetic sign judgment warning for the church, hence also the 50 days connection and the 17 deaths. The point being is that it also connects with another judgment warning for the church with 12 days, which is the Nick Chubb sign. It's a very important sign. There's too much to explain for that for this video. The name of the city in which the rocket exploded is Kostiantynivka. Okay, this word here. In simple English gematria, this is equal to 191. If you don't know gematria, what it is, Roman, Greek, Hebrew letters are also numbers, and as such, words and names can be converted into a numeric value. And when we do this with what is called simple English gematria for this name, and God does this with these types of unusual names, in this case it's unusual from an English perspective, then it's quite often that they contain prophetic significance through their gematria. Okay, so the gematria value of this name of this city in Ukraine that the rocket hit is 191, which hints at 9/11. The rocket explosion on September 6th is 19 days, which is another number that also symbolizes 9/11. For one thing, the 9/11 events pointed to Isaiah chapter 9, verse 10, and 19 is 9 plus 10. So again, the simple English gematria for the name of the city in which the rocket hit is equal to 191, which hints at 9/11, and the rocket explosion is 19 days before it is predicted that there will be an explosion in Manhattan, which is the location of the events of 9/11. The predicted suitcase nuke explosion in Manhattan on September 25th will be 31 days before the predicted nuke explosion in Damascus. 31 is the 11th prime number, and therefore 19 days followed by a connection that hints at the number 11 make the connections 9/11 symbolism. It's, in other words, similar to 191. 91 plus a number that symbolizes 11. Sorry, 19. That 19 followed by a number that symbolizes 11 gives us something similar to 191. And again, that is the gematria value of the name of the city. The predicted suitcase nuke explosion in Manhattan on September 25th, 2023 will be 19 months and 1 day after the symbolic first day of the Russia-Ukraine war. This 19 months and 1 day connection is also 9/11 symbolism. The suitcase nuke explosion, predicted suitcase nuke explosion, will be the follow-up judgment that God warned of through the 9/11 events. These connections involving Russia and Ukraine communicate that Ukraine will in some facet be behind the suitcase nuke explosion in Manhattan. This is the communication from God through these connections. That's the implication. Ukraine blamed the rocket that hit the market on Russia, when in fact it was an errant Ukrainian rocket, which they knew full well that it was. This hints at how Russia will be blamed for the suitcase nuke, when in fact Ukraine will in some way be responsible for the predicted explosion in New York. This 19 months and 1 day connection between the start of the Russia-Ukraine war and the predicted suitcase nuke explosion in New York is also 1 year, 7 months, and 1 day, which hints at the number 171, which is the 18th triangular number. God uses the number 18 to hint at 6 plus 6 plus 6, and the number of the Antichrist, 666. In Bible prophecy, the Antichrist is a deceiver. It is apparent that whatever the mainstream narrative will be regarding the predicted explosion in Manhattan, it will somehow be a lie. And what I mean by that is that it is apparent from and through God's signs, not only through what is being explained in this video, but other signs and connections as well, also clearly communicate that this is the case. I'll read the sentence again. It is apparent that whatever the mainstream narrative will be regarding the predicted explosion in Manhattan, it will somehow be a lie. And furthermore, this wouldn't be a surprise at all, given that everything the mainstream media reports these days is somehow a lie. A twisting of facts, manufactured stories, it's somehow a lie. It is likely that there will be domestic elements behind the predicted explosion in Manhattan. Not only is it likely the case, but this is what God's signs are communicating. The prophetic rocket explosion in Ukraine connects in two ways to the predicted explosion in Damascus, with 50 days and also with 19 days and 31 days. 17 people died in the explosion in Ukraine, and the destruction of Damascus with a nuke will fulfill the prophecy in the 17th chapter of the book of Isaiah. In other words, the 17 deaths in this prophetic sign in Ukraine, which involves an explosion, connects to the fulfillment of the 17th chapter in the book of Isaiah, which will be a nuclear bomb explosion of Damascus. The beginning of the Russia-Ukraine war saw a mass evacuation of the nation that was made up of 44 million people. And also right before the beginning of the war, the first Jewish leader of Ukraine had just turned 44 years old. It is predicted there will be a mass evacuation from Manhattan Island 19 months and 1 day later. The Antichrist is the 44th president, hence why Zelensky has been used as Antichrist symbolism in God's big picture of signs. The mass evacuation of the country that was made up of 44 million began on the day that the Moskva ship, the Russian battleship Moskva, took Snake Island, and Snake Island is Antichrist symbolism because of the name snake. As well as mark of the Antichrist symbolism that communicates that the mark of the Antichrist, which is the snake bite, was developed in Ukraine, which is the thing, and you know what I'm talking about, the thing that you can't talk about. The mass evacuation at the start of the war, for which there are laboratories in that country that are well known to have been funded by you know what country. The mass evacuation at the start of the war, on the day that the Moskva took Snake Island, is 1 year, 7 months, and 1 day before it is predicted there will be a mass evacuation from Manhattan Island. Snake Island hints at Manhattan Island, and 1 year, 7 months, and 1 day hints at 171, which is the 18th triangular number, and this hints at 6 plus 6 plus 6, the number of the Antichrist. One thing to add here too is that what is being symbolized with this prophetic sign is this story that's focused on how the rocket was in fact a Ukrainian rocket that killed its own people. The symbolism here, as you can already probably guess, is that somehow, like I'm saying, there will be domestic elements behind this coming dirty bomb or suitcase nuke explosion in Manhattan. Somehow, there will be elements of the U.S. government somehow. I don't know, I cannot see, furthermore, it's too murky to understand how it exactly would work out anyway. And what exactly are the nefarious elements within the government. But there are nefarious elements within this current government. And I don't mean just this administration, but I mean in general, infiltrated throughout the government. So, but the point is that this is what is being communicated by God through this prophetic sign. What will prove what I'm saying is true? The prediction. Aliens and UFOs are demons masquerading as aliens and UFOs. Most people's spiritual experiences are demonic deception, especially if they are not a true follower of Christ. God became a man and died a horrible death at the hand of the ruler of this world, Satan, and then defeated death for you, so that you too can overcome death, which is the price that must be paid for sin. It is time to repent, which means to change one's ways and turn to God and become a disciple of Jesus. Please leave a like and upvote the video. And once this prediction has come to pass, share this video with everyone you know, and more. Don't stop sharing it everywhere in social media. It is essential that everyone immediately read the homepage of my website, TrumpPrediction.com. If you are watching this on the YouTube platform, please note that not all of the videos are on YouTube. You need to switch to the BitChute.com or the Odyssey.com channel. And do it now in case you aren't able to later.